everyone. Welcome again to Leadership Wednesdays. This is the day that the Lord has made. Now, all things rise and fall on leadership. This is something that we've been saying for a while now. All things rise and fall on leadership. Families rise and fall on leadership. Organizations rise and fall on leadership. Countries and nations rise and fall on leadership. So recently we saw our president in Kenya firing his entire cabinet and beginning to make some changes within government because he also now understands that all things rise and fall on leadership. I mean, when you give people opportunities to serve and instead of them serving, they go to serve themselves, there's already a problem. Now that is what is forming our teaching for today, where I want to talk about leadership integrity. Leadership integrity. Now, one of the main problems that we have in Kenya and in Africa, and I want to focus on that because I know there are other problems in other continents. You know, we say that America is a country of integrity, but I have my doubts. We say that South America has their issues and Africa has our issues, okay? But also we have Kenya. Kenya has a problem, and I think the main problem of Kenya is integrity deficiency. We are not people of integrity as Kenyans. We are not leaders of integrity. I mean, how do you explain people like the former Minister of Transport? I mean, like this guy was so humble 2 years ago, and now he comes on screen and begins to tell us about his watch that costs 900,000 Kenya shillings. And there are people who don't even have food. How do you even do that? You are a public servant. And I'm happy because of what the president said, that there will be no fundraising for public servants. And I also want to maybe say that they shouldn't, public servants shouldn't do what Kipchumba Murkomen was doing. That was outrightly wrong. You don't do that. Same thing with pastors and these people. You don't come out and begin to tell people who are struggling and suffering about the value of what you're wearing. Now, there's no problem of you wearing 900,000 shillings watch. I mean, it's your watch. But don't use public money to buy it and don't brag about it, okay? Even if they ask you direct question. Integrity. We have an integrity deficiency in our country, and I think that's what needs to be restored. Well, when I say the word restored, it almost sounds as if it was ever there. It was never there from the beginning, but we need to rediscover or to discover integrity in every aspect of our governance, church, home, family, everywhere. We need integrity. So leadership integrity is a critical aspect of governance. It also brings in the issue of accountability, the funds. So there is also this other, the reason I say that Kenya will suffer from a leadership integrity is because even how we drive on the roads is a huge problem. Like people can't really, we don't drive with integrity. We don't walk like people who have integrity. But let me just introduce this concept and then we're going to look at it in the coming few weeks. Okay, leadership integrity. So let's define it. What is this thing that we are talking about when we talk about leadership integrity? We are talking about consistency of value actions. When I say value actions, I don't want just to say consistency of actions, because then it means if I'm consistent with the wrong actions, that would interpret into integrity, but that's not my point. My point is that the actions you take are valuable or they have value. And when you are consistently taking actions that have value, then we consider you to be a person or a leader of integrity. So it's a consistency of value actions, a consistency of methods. For example, I am praying that the president of Kenya will remain consistent in actions and in methods and in how he runs his government, that he will demand accountability from every person that he has appointed. So when we talk about leadership integrity, we're also talking about consistency of principles. People who are principled are people who can say no to corruption, no to bribes, no to backdoor deals, consistency of principles. And we're also talking about consistency of expectations and consistency of outcomes. Okay, this is the definition that I give of leadership integrity. So it is the second thing that I want to say is that leadership integrity is an alignment or an agreement or a consistency between what leaders say and do. Meaning that if a leader says something, they need to do it. That is what we draw and say, okay, this is a leader of integrity. But if what they say is not what they do, they say this and then they do something else, or they don't do it at all, then there's a deficiency of integrity. And that is the call that has been going on in our country for the president to be consistent in what he says and what he does. If he says it, he needs to do it. If he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to say it, And those are the questions. And that is where leadership integrity comes in. And so the other question that we have to ask ourselves is, why is leadership important integrity important in leadership? There are 3 reasons that I'm going to give why integrity is important in leadership, whether you're leading a church, a ministry, government position, whatever area in your life that you're leading. The number one thing is that it builds trust and credibility. And you see, if you are a person of integrity or a leader of integrity, people trust you because you become credible to them. If you align what you say and do, people are going to trust you quickly. It also promotes ethical behavior. Okay? All things rise and fall from on the leader or on leadership. So if a leader has ethics or integrity, then it flows from the top. And the third thing is that it will enhance your team's morale, okay, and cohesion. The team will come together and they will begin to do things. Leadership integrity. So I urge every leader to continue not to continue. If you're working in integrity, continue doing it. If you feel there are gaps in your integrity between what you say and what you do, begin to work on it. And always remember that all things rise and fall on leadership.